Hi guys, it's Paula from Older Girl Beauty, and I'm taking part in the Makeup Wars $20 Makeup Challenge. So the premise of this is, let's say you've lost your luggage and you are out somewhere and you've lost all your makeup and all you have is 20 bucks and you have to go get the products to recreate your face. So what I've done is I've stuck with some really tried and true inexpensive drugstore brands. Well, they're in drugstores now. They are e.l.f. and Wet n Wild. And what I started with was the e.l.f. Tinted Moisturizer, which is in the color Nude. This is from the Studio line, so it's $3. And this is, it says it's a tinted moisturizer, but it goes on a little bit fuller. I would call it light medium foundation size, but I don't put it on really heavy because of my freckles. I don't want to mattify them because I cannot stand that look. So I tend to just do a sheer of this, and that worked out pretty well. It matched my skin tone. Now my skin is ready right now anyway, so it's, unless I just want to cake on concealer and foundation and powder and mask my face, I'm going to hide it, but I'm not going to. I also got some e.l.f. concealer for $1, and what I did was I put some around my nose and a little bit under my eyes, just a little bit, just to kind of lessen the redness, but not to have full complete coverage, because this color didn't actually completely match. I'm so weird because I'm in between light medium, so it's kind of a challenge. But this was light beige, and it actually went on pretty well. It's doe-footed applicator, so you can tap it on and then smush it in with your fingers. And that one was just $1. One of the next things I got was also from e.l.f., and this is an all-over color stick. What you can do is use this for multi-purpose, which I did, and it's a cool tone. And what I did was I used this for my blush, and I used it on here just real lightly because it's not that it has glitter in it, it just has kind of a sheen to it, so it made it kind of dewy, but I didn't want to go overboard with it because I think I was going to use it. I used it again on my lips, and that way it's not too matchy-matchy. And I don't like a lot of blush anyway. I just think with the redness and the readiness that I have anyway, I tend not to use a lot of red. I tend to do more on my eyes. So in this particular case, I got the e.l.f. cream eyeshadow. This one is in Dawn, and I tend to put these on with my fingers anyway, cream shadows. So I used this brush somewhere else and I set it aside. This made a really great base instead of using a primer. I could use it for the base for my eyeshadows. Now I don't know about wearability, but I do tend to have pretty good luck with the Studio line from e.l.f. So what I did was, my big splurge for my eyes was the $5 32-piece eyeshadow palette. And this palette is crazy. This is called the Warm palette, but it works for cool tones too, because there is a mix of some cooler metallics, cooler browns, plums. You can do all kinds of smoky eyes with this. You can do the darks, you can do the plums, you can do a brown, you can roll in some metallics, and then it's got some highlighter colors. All this for $5. If you come across one of these palettes, snap it up, because you will use this more than you think you will if this is all you have. And plus, if you take it on vacation with you and you drop it in the hotel room on the floor and some of the colors break, well, you're not going to cry too much because you're only out $5. In this particular case, I used this for my lid color. I used a combination of these two in my crease, and I don't even know, I didn't end up really using a light highlighter because the Dawn worked. I put it all the way up to my brow bone, so that worked really well. Now, the sponge tip that I used, I applied with it, but I couldn't blend with it, of course, because you can't blend with the sponge. So what I had done was, I am in love with the e.l.f. Studio C brush. In fact, I have like 4 of them. Well, this is a smaller version of it. They called this a concealer brush, and it was $1, but it's actually a C brush, just a smaller head. It's a little firmer. And so what I did was I actually used it in the crease and blended it out more. and that smooth the color around. To me, it's a little bit big for a concealer brush, at least how I use concealer. I'll tend to just tap it in. Like, I'll smoosh with my fingers around my eyes, but for specific dots and spots, I actually use a finer tip brush, and so I can get more precise application. So this worked out really well for eyeshadow, blending and using for eyeshadow. Now for eyeliner, I used another e.l.f. product. This is one of their shimmer eyeliner pencils, and this is kind of a bronze color, and it's kind of soft. I was afraid that it was going to be, you know, too firm because I like to have a broader eyeliner, and it was pretty soft and it went on really well. But this one comes with its own sharpener because it is semi-soft. You're going to want to sharpen it if you want a finer point. This was only $1 for this one. Then for the mascara, I got a 2-for product for $1.99. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Protein. Pretty standard brush. It wasn't too wet of a formula. There was no curling properties to it, but it tended to, I don't know if you can tell. Anyway, it separated the lashes really well, and I was able to flutter out my in lashes because I don't use false lashes. I tend to just put more at the ends to make it fuller. And this seemed to do pretty well. I haven't seen any flaking or anything yet, but for a good basic, it wasn't very wet, so it dried pretty quick. I had a little bit of a dot like within 30 seconds or so, but it quickly wiped away, and then there was no others. Now what came with it was a black eyeliner pencil that is really hard, and I don't use black anyway because I think it's too harsh for me. And so you could use it for your eyebrows, but I wasn't real sold on that either. So I just set that one aside. What I did was I used one of the other colors from the palette. I used this color down here with the little brush that came with the cream shadow. Used that and then filled that in on my brows. Now there's no, of course, waxy setting formulation in any of these eyeshadows. It's just used for color and for fill. So I tend to like something that will actually hold my brows in place, but this worked really well for filling in and coloring, so I was pretty pleased with that. So my eyes turned out pretty well for a daytime look. You can use the palette, shift it into night, no problem. I mean, for regular usage, this palette I think would actually be standout. Now for the lips, I ended up with a 2-for pack from Wet n Wild. This one is called Nude, and it's a matte color. And I wasn't like super pleased with the color for myself. It ended up being more bricky nude, and that really wasn't, I thought with the cool tones that I had already used, that really wasn't going to work out for me. But it went on creamy on my hand. But this 2-for pack was $1.99, and it came with this lip liner, which actually is kind of a cool plummy color, which actually worked out really well. I lined my whole lips with it, and which gave it some definition and some color, and then I topped it with the all over color multiple stick that I keep calling it multiple. It's not that, but it works. It's a multi-use thing. It gives enough of a little bit of a sheen so it's not mattified, but it's not it's not going to go anywhere, and it's not all super ugly white frosty. So it gives it a little bit of color, and it works. I don't know lasting. It's not necessarily a stain per se. It is definitely just kind of like a highlighting cream, but it worked really well for my cheeks and my lips. So I was pretty satisfied with everything that I got for this, except for the black eyeliner, but that was just a gimme in the mascara anyway, so I'm not too disappointed. My grand total for everything that I got was $18.98, so it came in under my $20, and I'll tell you, the splurge of the $5 for the palette is probably the best thing that I got, and I actually will keep using that. So along with my e.l.f. Studio Cream Shadow in Dawn, I think that really made a nice base. I can't say enough about the e.l.f. Studio line. So if you do find yourself in a situation where you're stranded on a deserted island because they've lost your luggage and the only thing they have is a Target where you can run in and go buy products for 20 bucks because that's what you found on the beach, head to the e.l.f. section and load yourself up. So thanks a lot. Bye.